Walk
The
with
I am hear
me.
thee in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and strengthen thee out of Zion. Remember all thy offerings, and accept thy burnt sacrifice, Selah. Grant thee according to thy own heart, and fulfill thy counsel. We will rejoice in thy salvation in the name of our God. We will set up our banners. The I am fulfill all thy petitions. Now know I that the I am saveth his anointed. He will hear from his holy heaven with saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the I am our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Save, O Most High, and let the King hear us when we call. A Psalm of David, chapter 20. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. A prayer of Abram. Jubilees chapter 12, verse 20. Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, those of you that are viewing me on this platform and those shared platforms. We thank God for you. Yes, and also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and we thank God for those of you that have just been with us since after that and then from there and there's about, and we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed. We glorify God for that, and we thank God for those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, glory to God, glory to God. Now we're in the, should I say, sometime I have to check up. We're in the 24th chapter, not too far from the 25th, so we're going to call this the 25th, but we're in the 24th chapter. We ended at chapter 24 of the book of Jasher and verse 39. Jasher chapter 24 and verse 39. We ended there. And we found that Isaac, a 40-year-old man, yes, a 40-year-old man, and they all blessed the I am who brought this thing about, and they gave him Rebekah. See, he went to get Rebekah. Now, mind you, your mindset right now is what I would call westernized. Your mindset is not accepting of those of other cultures. This was the main culture of that day. I mean, among all the people. And it's a culture in some lands, Afghanistan, some parts of Africa, and other places. Yes, it's the same culture. You cannot condemn something that God doesn't condemn. And then you have their parents also who rejoiced. Because this here is not just a mindset of a person being taken for just no reason at all. It's for a purpose. And they were glad that this young lady was chosen to be a part of such a major event in the story. Yes. We're reading from the 40th chapter of Jasher. And the young woman was very comely appearance. She was a beautiful woman. She was a young woman. She was a virgin, and Rebekah was 10 years old in those days. Whoa! She was 10 years old in those days. And how old was Isaac? He was 40 years old. Just as I said to you before, Isaac was 30 years older than his own betrothed. But they were rejoicing, the fathers which just stand to the forefront. But let me tell you something here. No U.S. government existed back then. No colonizer existed back then. No one of any other mindset existed. But the woman had when she passed the flower of her age, she's able to bear children, and thus, according to that mindset, she is a woman. So this lets you know something about God. But today we have the laws of men. We have the laws, our mindset has been put to where we would call him a pedophile, to put it plainly. Well, if that's the case, their fathers and their mothers were pedophiles too. This was a pedophile society, according to our laws and mindset of today. Who set your mind today? At least he was, I ain't going to even say at least, he did that legally and morally. Whereas today you have those who do these things illegally and against the will of a person. Now, let's continue. And Bethuel and Laban and his children made a feast on that night. And Eleazar and his men came and ate and drank and rejoiced on that night. This is a remarkable event in this history. And Eleazar rose up in the morning, and he and his men that were with him, and he called to the whole household Bethuel, saying, "Send me away that I might go to my master." And they rose up and sent away Rebekah. Yes, the 10-year-old girl or 10-year-old woman. But remember, and her nurse, she had a nanny. She had someone that really was training her. She had somebody with her. Deborah, her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Uz. I don't know how old Deborah was, but apparently she had to be a little older young lady. And they gave her silver and gold and men servants and maid servants, and they blessed her. Why did they do all this? Because out of the womb of this young woman, some of you would call her a girl, but she had passed the flower of her age, apparently, or she wouldn't be eligible for marriage. They blessed her with all manner of gold and silver. I mean, because this womb that she has is going to birth something that even impacts the world today, where men are confused and people are causing themselves to go in a frenzy because they want to be called after the seed that is implanted in this woman or inseminated in this woman. They want to be identified with this seed. Yes, to us, she would be a young girl past the flower of her age. In other words, on her woman time. I'll put it that way to be morally, politically correct, to put it that way. And maid servants and blessed her in verse 43, And they sent Eleazar away with his men, and the servants took Rebekah. And he went and returned to his master to the land of Canaan. And Isaac took Rebekah, and she became his wife. How did she become his wife? This 40-year-old man copulated with this 10-year-old woman who was past the flower of her age, or else she wouldn't have married him. They wouldn't have given her away. And she became his wife, and he brought her into the tent. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of his uncle Bethuel, for a wife. Chapter 25. And it was at the time that Abraham again took a wife in his old age, and her name was Keturah, from the land of Canaan. Now, we go back a little bit to this. Isaac, 40 years old, with a 10-year-old woman. Today, you're so brainwashed, you would start shooting and killing and everything and crying. But this is not the case. This is not the case. She wasn't stolen. She was given away. It was God's will, number 2. And it turned out to where we see the result, even in our day and time now. So you have to get out your mindset and you have to ask, is this the way of this people? How are these people thinking like this? Or how does the mother feel? How does the father feel? See, when you deal in something or societies or cultures like this, you have to think not out in your mindset and they should be like me, and you're being no better than those who would say, who have infiltrated lands with Christianity and say, you must be a Christian, even Islam, at the gunpoint. But you must understand, is this culture of God? What do they have that they contribute? Who are they to do such things? I know it's a touchy subject for some of you because you're brainwashed. To put it correctly, you're brainwashed. You can't see past looking. But the fact is that God condoned this. The Most High condoned this. And some of you would even get on social media, oh, he was a pedophile. No, he wasn't. There was no law against that. See, man had made himself God. This is why even in he changed the laws. Even in the book of Daniel, he changed the laws. This Christian, this antichrist, this anti-God society changed the laws of societies that were following God. This was for a reason, or else she would have been still there. She had a tutor. She had somebody to teach her things. She had her handmaids. Now, and the same thing in any other land, they still practice this today. Let us continue. Chapter 25. And it was at that time Abraham again took a wife in his old age, and her name was Keturah, from the land of Canaan. And she bare unto him Zimran, Joktan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shunach, being 6 sons. And the son of Zinran were Abihin, and Molik, and Narim. And the sons of Joktan were Sheba, Dedan, and the sons of Midian are Amida, Joab, Goshi, Elisha, and Nothach. And the sons of Midian were Ephah, Eper, Kenach, Abida, and Eldah. And the sons of Ishbak were Makiro, Beudah, and Tator. And the sons of Shuach were Bildad, Mamdad, Munnad, and Meban. And all these are the families of the children of Keturah, the Canaanitish woman, which she bare unto Abraham, the Hebrew. He wasn't Israel. He was not an Israelite. Israel was Jacob was in his loins, but he was not. He was a Hebrew. And Abram sent all these away and gave them gifts. And they went away from his son Isaac to dwell whenever they should find a place. And all these went to the mountain at the east, that they built themselves 6 cities, which they dwelt to this day. But the children of Sheba and Dedan, children of Joktan, with their children, did not dwell with their brethren in the cities. So this would be toward the Euphrates, if they went east. See, he was still in Bethel. Or should I say not Bethel, but Beersheba. So they went east when they went to the mountains. Now, they built themselves 6 cities. This is what you would call, I believe it's, you have Jordan, then you have these, Syria was once Jordan, or toward the way of Jordan. That's Syria. Okay, now, let's continue. But the children of Sheba, Dedan, and the children of Joktan with their children did not dwell with their brethren in their cities, and they journeyed and encamped in the countries and the wilderness unto this day. And the children of Midian, the son of Abram, went to the east of the land of Cush, the east of the land of Cush, which we call Ethiopia. If they went to the east of the land of Cush, you go down and then you would go east, which would be down in Syria. And they remained there and built a city. They dwelt therein, that is the land of Midian unto this day. Now you have to remember, these lands were luscious green lands during that time. They had trees, they had lions, they had everything. But lions not going to stay in the desert. There was no desert. The desert was very minute at that time. And it took years, even thousands of years, for the deserts to get to this point where it is now in the Sahara. Yes. Now, let's continue verse 10 of chapter 25. And Midian dwelt in the city which he built, he and his 5 sons, and all belonging to him. And these are the names of the sons of Midian, according to their names in their cities: Ephah, Ephah, Kenoch, Abida, and Eldah. And these sons, Ephah, were Mithach, and Meshar, Avi, and Tizania. The sons of Ephah were Ephron, Zur, Alaron, and Midin. And the sons of Kenoch were Ruel, Rechiam, and Azi, Eliashob, and Alad. And the sons of Abida were Kur, Milod, Keruri, Molchi, and the sons of Ida were Milcah, and Reba, and Malchiah. There's a Yah on the end, Malchiah, and Gabal. And these are the names of the Midianites, according to their families, after the families of Midian spread throughout the land of Midian. And these are the generations of Ishmael, the son of Abram, whom Hagar, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abram. And Ishmael took a wife from the land of Egypt, and her name was Ribah, and the same is Meribah. And Ribah bare unto Ishmael Nebaioth, Kedah, Abiel, Mibsam, and their sister Boshmath. Now he mentioned a sister here. Now that's a note. And Ishmael cast away his wife Ribmah, and she went from him and returned to Egypt. You have to realize, either way you go, Egypt is not, you can get in a reasonable amount of time to Egypt from either one of these places. You can walk. You can walk to Egypt. Now, these people still in their lifetime, 40 years, where have you gone in 40 years? If you go around America, then it says, you have those that say, well, the gopher wood, they try to identify things, but there's nothing else. What else is there? These things should have been noted as far as in the United States. They should have been noted, the places where Abram built in Bethel. Where is his house? Where is his tomb? See, got to think. And I had to think myself to try to figure it out. These things are not wrong. They're up right there. That is the navel of the earth that they understood at that time. Not Kenya. Not in the Kenya. No, that's the center of earth as far as one that does longitude and latitude. Yes, that's the center of the earth. But the fact is, the center of the earth for them was in that general area between, it was Russia, then you had on the other side where you have Libya, you had Syria, you just had that one Sinai Peninsula, that one area where Israel is located now, that everything was centered around. It was the center of all the events that were going on. This is what they mean by the center of the earth. Think. Now, for it says Ribdah, and she went from him and returned to Egypt, to the house of her father, and she dwelt there. For she had been very bad in the sight of Ishmael and in the sight of his father Abraham. This is the same one, Ribah, was the same one that when Abraham came and he looked and she was cussing Abraham out, he was out hunting doing the best he can. Ishmael. And then next thing you know, Abram comes up. He did not get off his camel. No, he did not. Then he began to look at her, and he heard her cussing the kids out too, or fussing the kids out, however you want to put it. Excuse me. And so Abram told her these words. She did not know what they mean. But in other words, he told Ishmael, she told her husband that his father said, get rid of her. And that's what he did. So we're going back and forth here. This is the thought you have to think about. Where are they going here? Are they talking history, or are they talking past to lead up to a certain point? And all these things in your study of the scriptures. This is one book out of many. There's no such thing as a Bible per se. Those just collected books. They're different books. They were made in different times. Some span thousands of years from the other. So you have to call a buck a buck. You cannot take 30 years of a book or a few verses of a book and then just do away with all what God had done when God said, I change not. God doesn't have amendments and all that other stuff. His laws is laws, period. Now, for she had been very bad in the sight of Ishmael and in the sight of his father Abram. Now Ishmael afterwards took a wife from the land of Canaan. Her name was Malkuth, and she bare unto him Nishma, yes, Duma, Massa, Chadad, and Tema, Yetor, Napish, and Kedma. And these are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, being 12 princes according to their nations. And the families of Ishmael afterwards spread forth, and Ishmael took his children and all the property that he had gained together with the souls of his household and all belonging to him, and went to dwell where they should find a place. Now he also took these children and everything and took them back to Abram, and he dwelt with Abram for a while, and until afterwards, or I believe after Sarah died, and basically maybe after the marriage of Isaac. Now, and they went and dwelled in verse 20. We're in verse 20, Jasher Chapter 25 and verse 20. And they went and dwelt near the wilderness of Paran, and their dwelling was from Havilah unto Shur. That is before Egypt, as thou comest towards Assyria. Now, you're talking about Syria, it's more the south of the Jordan. Now, before Egypt. So we're talking about, like, I believe somewhere in that area around Morocco and Tanzania, places up there, I believe. That's where it's at. Now, he says, before Egypt, as thou comest toward Assyria. In other words, Assyria, if you're going toward Assyria, then this has to be before Egypt, which is in the north parts. And Ishmael and his sons dwelt in the land, and they had children born to them. And they were fruitful and increased abundantly. Yes, and these are the names of the sons of Nebaioth. The first was Ishmael. He named him after himself, after his father. And Sin, Mahon, and sons of Kedar were Ayan, Kizim, Kamad, and Elah. And the sons of Abdil were Kimad, Jabin, and the sons of Mibsam were Obadiah, Ebelimech, yes, and Yeush, something like that. But these are the families of the children of Ribah, the wife of Ishmael, yes. And the sons of Mishma, the sons of Ishmael, were Shuma, Shamua, Jekaran, and Obed. And the sons of Duma were Kezed, and Elah, and Machmad, and Ahmed. Yes, these are names that some of even the colonizers use of what happened in that now, that have taken over. And the sons of Massa were Milan, Mula, and Ebidadan, yeah. Ebidadan. And the sons of Chadad were Ashur, Minzah, and Abimelech. And the sons of Tema were Seir, Sidon, and Yaakov. Now, these are the names that are found up in that area. Now, a lot of these places have been replaced. The people have learned, they've been there a long time, and they've learned their custom, their ways, the way they give their names, and they think themselves to be the people of this book, but are not. So, and the sons of Yetur were Merith, Yaish, Alyo, and Pekoth, and the sons of Naphish was Ebed, Tamid, Abashiaph, and Mir, and the sons of Kedma were Caleb, Tachi, and Immer, and these were the children of Malkuth, the wife of Ishmael, according to their families. And these are all the families of Ishmael, according to their generations, and they dwelt in those lands. Therein they had built themselves cities unto this day. Now you have to remember, this Ishmael, these are telling you the generations of what's happening, which is going to lead up to even Jacob going to Egypt. Okay? Now, and Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, this is leading up to something after they have given you a series of names and genealogies. Now it leads up to another event that's leading up to the formation of the children of Israel. Now Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the wife of Abraham's son Isaac, was barren in those days, and she had no offspring. And Isaac dwelled with his father in the land of Canaan. And the I Am was with Isaac and Aphoxad, and the son of Shem and the son of Noah died. The I Am was with Isaac and Aphoxad, the son of Shem, the son of Noah, died in those days. Now, he's talking about King Aphoxad. That's what he's talking about. Now, in the 48th year of the life of Isaac, all the days of Aphoxad lived were 438 years, and he died. And with that, we're going to say peace.